What is going on, guys? This is George. Welcome to another video. Today, I kind of want to explore new, I don't want to say new categories, but kind of like a category. So, one of the things that I like a lot besides Pokemon is, of course, professional wrestling. And um, I'm excited to announce that, and it is a few months away. Well, actually, like a month and we'll say less than 2 months from now, as of recording this video. Um, I will be attending WrestleMania 40 weekend in Philadelphia, and honestly, not only did I want to do that, but I kind of want to show off something I got recently. And I know people are gonna have like pick their sides if they like it or not. But personally, I like it, which is why I got it, which is something I wanted to get for a while. And that is the Spinner WWE Championship. I grew up with this belt. I know to a lot of people, wrestlers and fans, see this as the just the John Cena belt. And I can see why, considering, he showed off this championship after beating JBL at WrestleMania. Shoot. That was almost... Wait, when did that happen? Shoot. That was almost 20 years ago. Yeah, I feel old, but yeah. So, yes, I'm going to go to WrestleMania weekend in Philadelphia. I kind of want to bring up like a fun story, actually, for me and WrestleMania history as I play around with my... It was on sale, but still overpriced fidget spinner. So basically, what went down was me and my one buddy Mike, who I'm going to WrestleMania weekend with. That's going to be the Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and both nights. Kind of want to go over like the huge story on our WrestleMania story, I should say, and why this feels great that I'll be attending the shows. So this really started with talks back in 2019 when WrestleMania 35 was in East Rutherford, New Jersey. And he ended up going last second, my buddy did. I was planning on going, but the fact that at the time I hated driving in New Jersey, plus I had to pay to come home, I wasn't a fan of that. So I just ended up just going to an old buddy's house and watched the show there. Yeah, there we go. And I ended up just watching it at my old buddy's house instead of going to the show. I tempted on going, but I eventually said no for, like I said, I hate driving in Jersey. And I have to pay to go home, basically. And then came 2020, and I hate mentioning that year, as well as a lot of other people. So you see why it never happened. Actually, what's cool thing about my buddy too is that he was gonna go to that Mania in Florida. However, due to the pandemic, he couldn't go. He still has his ticket for the venue, and he was gonna go get a frame and get it framed as like the Mania he never went to. And then that's why he never redeemed his to go to the next Mania, which, oh my gosh. For us dudes, you hate that feeling you get something stuck in your throat and you're trying to get it out. And then all you do is just like just continue to cough. That's me right now. But no, then the next WrestleMania, of course, that was everyone came back, and I didn't want to risk it. Plus, I didn't have the money for flying to Florida, and with all the guidelines we had to do at the time, wasn't really worth it. Then there was the Mania in Texas. There was small talks about it, but they were like, goddamn. They were more like jokes than anything. Like, we weren't planning on really going. We were like, hey, what if we went to Texas for the weekend, huh? Ooh. But we joked around about it, but ended up not going. And then last year, of course, was in LA, and we're both just like, no. Just no. And as we were looking at when Manias were happening, there were some rumors going around that, oh, it's coming to Philadelphia. It's coming to Philadelphia. And we were like, I don't know if that's true. Or should we like buy into it? And honestly, like, I didn't think that was going to happen. And then we got the news last year. And I called him right away. I said, Mike, we going to Philly. He goes, duh. And what makes it even more cool is that I live about 20 minutes away from Philadelphia. He lives about an hour away, but still. I live 20 minutes away from the stadiums. So that's why I'm like, this is the time. There's no other chance that you could have that basically Wrestlemania is in my backyard. So that's what we did now. We were going to do just the 2 nights because I didn't want to spend a whole lot of money. But then I told my friend how much I pay for the tickets, which I'm not going to say on here. And he's like, okay, he'll pay me back or find some way to pay me back. And a couple days ago, he goes, oh, remember how much I owe you for those tickets? I said, yeah. He shows me a picture of tickets he got for 3-day passes for the other shows. So I'm like, all right, we're going to WrestleMania. So yeah, it's not like that big story, but there were just talks about it for years on going to WrestleMania. And finally, after years of talking about it, and probably even more years before we even met, when, as kids, we were probably like, oh, I want to eventually go to a WrestleMania or find a way to get to the big show like that. Well, April, Philly, we coming. So, I guess since I'm talking about WrestleMania, I can mention about the whole situation involving Cody Rhodes, The Rock, and Roman Reigns. I was all for finishing the story. But I also saw the business side about the Roman versus The Rock match. I was not one of those that were crying about CM Punk. Oh, not CM Punk. That's another person I'll bring up in a second. I wasn't the only person, or I was one of the few people that weren't complaining online about Cody Rhodes not finishing the story. In quotes. I would do the quotes thing right now, but I'm trying to make sure everything's good. And I got this belt, man. The overpriced. Where is the there's the overpriced fidget spinner. I mentioned this to some buddies that I play games with on Mondays, and they're like, "Really? You did that?" I said, "Shut up. You can have your silly little games, and I will have my overpriced fidget spinner I can play around with." But yeah, I wasn't fully upset about the story not ending because I saw it as a business perspective. I'm like, okay, I can see why they want to go with Rock Roman over Cody Roman too. And then when everything turned down, I'm like, wait a minute. This actually makes sense. Like, it could have been a last second thing. It could have been that WWE had this plan the whole time. Who can say, you know? But it just seems like what's the best way to describe it? If it was planned in the last second, it was planned very well. And I'll give props to them for that. Before I go any further, I know some people are going to mention, what about AEW? I don't mind it. The only problem I have with AEW is some of the stories kind of just fly around everywhere. And there's not like a solid point. It just seems like they like to bounce all over the place. And I get it, injuries suck, but overall, I do prefer WWE over AEW, but if there's an AEW show nearby, shoot, I'll go to it. I went to one a few years ago in Atlantic City. That was a lot of fun. Then I got sick, though. The next day, like I just felt like complete crap. But yeah, overall, though, I think this is going to be a pretty good show. And, of course, I mentioned injuries. So there's no Chick Magnet Punk. Now, this is going to sound odd, especially because I'm wearing my CM Punk shirt. But I'm not really the biggest fan of him, honestly. Now, I know you're going to go, well, George, why are you wearing a Punk shirt? Are you like a secret fanboy or whatever? Well, I lost a bet with my girlfriend. We went to a live show in Newark, Delaware. I think it was back in December. And we were watching the show, and I placed a bet with her saying, whoever wins this match, let's place a bet. The winner of the bet picks the shirt for the loser, and that was predicting a match. And I lost. And so my punishment was to get a CM Punk t-shirt. Because when he returned at Survivor Series, I was not happy at all. Has he visibly shown that he looks better and he's doing better? Sure. But we don't know until like a big hurdle happens, and I think that's what's happening with this injury. Because with all the Drew McIntyre stuff that's been happening, which I think is kind of cool, and if he agreed to it, and it seems like everyone's going on the right foot, then kudos to him. But until like it really goes without a lot of issues, then okay, fine. Until then, I'm just like, what's going to happen with that hurdle? But I'm not going to be like, oh, you're garbage. You're garbage. You're trash. Or anything like that. I get it with second chances. So this is his second chance, so hopefully it goes well. But yeah, no, I just wanted to mention that I'll be at WrestleMania 40, as well as what I think about certain events. And how I am with like other wrestling promotions and stories and all that fun stuff. I will say this too. I am aware of what's going on with the lawsuit. Am I gonna bring it up here? No, because I want to kind of treat this more of like a positive place to be. Oh, it didn't fall. Sweet. I'm treating this as a positive place to be. So like, even if things seem rough, you can always come by, watch the channel, whether it's Pokemon videos, wrestling videos, anything else I do here. And hopefully you guys are all for the road, and we're trying to make this a fun place to be. All right. So if you're going to WrestleMania 40 as well, or any of the shows happening, whether it be SmackDown, Raw, NXT, or both nights, I hope to see you guys there. And this is George. I'll see you guys later. And the champ is here. Okay, I had to do that. I'm sorry.